Welcome back, everybody. I am Cyrus. I am going to be playing some Charizard Control today. This is the deck that I played at Worlds. So, let's look at the list first. I actually got to make sure that it's up to date. This isn't the exact list that I played at Worlds. It's a couple cards different. I've changed some things since then. For example, I didn't play this Entei or the Cleffa at Worlds. Those are actually the biggest new changes, so that might be... I don't play this anymore. So this is your chance to screenshot the list. I think it might also be in the description. Let me see here. I'll just export it from the description here. Oh no, I'm gonna swap these out. How fast can I swap these arts out? I do it a lot. I got some practice. Should be able to do this quickly. Boom. 2 of these. Luxray. Boom. Manaphy, Cleffa. This deck is really cool. It basically exploits that a lot of players don't know that, like, what is going to be in your list. So they're not necessarily playing around stuff like Cornerstone or, well, either of the Ogerpons really, or the Luxray, Eri, you know, stuff that they're not expecting to necessarily see in a normal Charizard list, and then other cards that you don't even play that they might be playing around. Like they might be playing in a way that is not optimal against this list, but would be optimal if we play something like Thornton, if they try to play around that. So you're able to just like walk your opponent into a lot of mistakes that aren't even necessarily mistakes from their perspective of the board. Like if I were in their shoes, I'd probably do the same, but end up being mistakes because of cards that they didn't know that I played and probably shouldn't expect me to play. The deck can play, you know, more like a traditional Pidgeot control build at times, but normally it plays more like a Charizard deck. But we also are better at, you know, utilizing that Radiant Charizard than a normal Charizard list is. And we have some attacks that can be good in Charizard, but you wouldn't play necessarily just in Charizard, like the Torrential Pump on the Wellspring Mask is an attack that we actually use quite often. A little bit less the way the format's progressed, but going into Worlds format, you know, it's pretty solid against Charizard players and Gardevoir players when they are not expecting it to be an option. Especially because even if they know that you play it, they're usually still not expecting the Legacy energy. Ultra Ball, Rare Candy, Counter Catcher, Super Rod. Ultra Ball, play 3 of each of these. Rare Candy. Counter Catcher. Super Rod. Y'all might be asking some questions in the chat. I will get to those as soon as I make all those changes to the list and update the arts. Vacuum, Pal Pad. Alright, let's see if you guys have any questions first. Do you think it's better than a normal control list, like all out Blitzel's Luxray control list? Yes, definitely. I tried Luxray control. Specifically, I tried all out Blitzel's exact list for a bit before Worlds, and it just did not feel very good. You know, it still has all the control pieces, so it's still solid. And Luxray is not a bad attacker, but the deck just did not feel like it flowed very well. It did not feel super consistent, and the strength of Luxray didn't really make up for the inconsistency of the deck. Whereas the strength of Charizard usually does make up for any like potential inconsistency. A lot of matchups you can win, like the Miraidon matchup, you just get out one Charizard, you can sweep them a lot of the time. Charizard plus Radiant Charizard is such a strong combo that you can come back from so much. I think the Luxray deck demands better openings from you. You certainly have lots of comeback potential with, the attack to discard a card from the opponent's hand, comboed with like a late game Roxanne. So just like there's a lot of options that deck has, but I just have not found it to be as strong. As far as like without Charizard but a more traditional Pidgeot control list, I think there is merit to that, like something more like what Alejandro played, Cremasoli. That deck's pretty cool. It has some more options, but I do think that it still struggles against all these hyper aggro decks. You can have like a Noivern into that and have a pretty cool deck. I think they both have merit right now, but this deck just flows a little bit better. It has the attacking option, especially if you're to play this in like a best of one, or really, I mean, even in majors where ties are so devalued right now. It's nice to have a way to like consistently close out games. I really love your list, Cyrus. You are pretty cool. Thank you. Thank you. I love my list too. Let's get into some ladder games. I haven't played a ton of ladder since this month. Before Worlds, it just wasn't, wasn't the best way to prep. So I wanted to focus on specific matchups rather than just randomly what I hit. There were some matchups that I needed to make sure I had down, and then now that World's over, I just don't have the incentive to play ladder that much right now because I'm not going to Baltimore. So I saw, yes, Zard Control. I saw you were paired against Alex from round 1 at World. What was it like to play against a teammate and strong player so early in your run? Honestly, I mean, it was certainly a funny first round pairing. I actually thought we'd be on stream. I think we were under consideration to be on stream, but for whatever reason they went a different way with it. But I think ultimately, like, there's just so many strong players at Worlds, right? Like, if I didn't hit Alex, it would have been any number of other very talented players. So it was like a momentary, like, oh, that's funny. You're probably gonna be a tough opponent, but it's Worlds, so you kind of expect everybody to be solid. Do you ever find yourself missing the consistency of a normal Charizard list? I mean, in the matchups where you only want to attack with Charizard, sometimes, even then, like, some of the other options you get, like Eri, and Roxanne, some cards that Charizard doesn't play, like, even just give you, like, a few more options that I really like. But, if you only hit matchups where you don't need any of the control package, then certainly it'd be nice to have a more standard Charizard list. That being said, I don't think there's such thing right now. Like, I don't think you should play just a normal Charizard list right now. I think, because even if you look like the best Charizard list right now, or like something close to it, this is going to be the best list towards list that he came 10th with at Worlds. Like, he's still only playing a 2-1-2 Charizard. It's still, not a traditional Zard list. It still plays a bunch of weird techs. They're just sort of different weird techs than the control build of the deck plays. So either way, you just can't really afford to. That's just sort of how Charizard has to be built right now to have a chance against Regidrago. Hey Kyle, how's it going? I don't know, how often do you play these days? I haven't seen you in forever. The Gen. Hey James, how's it going? Honestly, this hand could be worse. I kind of don't like that he's probably not going to get a knockout here. I was hoping he would just knock out the... Oh, he's going to get a knockout on Commander. That's unfortunate. I am here for Prime Catcher. I wasn't going to Gen. Possibly. He did, yeah. Not that. Anything I could have done about it. Yeah, this hand's definitely leaving something to be desired, but I wouldn't say we're out of it. You know, the Iron Hands, I can put up the Luxray so the Iron Hands get one-shot it. Although I would love to just go for Grasping Draw. I think, I mean, let's hope for the best. Luminous Sign, yes. Arven, done. Arven, Poffin, Bravery Charm, I guess. Sure. Poffin, Charmander, Pidgey, Bravery Charm. Because I think I'm just going to Grasping Draw here. I think it's like, I would love to not get amped, but there's just no other option in my current hand. Good draw off the Grasping Draw, though. So we definitely still come back here. They take a knockout. We go Rare Candy Pidge, Ultra Ball for Zard, Rare Candy Zard, Quick Search for Roxanne. If they don't bench Mew or Fez, might be solid. Kind of been a Cup Demon last few years, making push this year, though. Nice, nice. I have not been a Cup Demon the last couple of years. I would like to play more, but just too busy, and honestly, I lied. I would not like to play more, so that is part of it, too. I don't dislike Cups, but I don't love them either. Looks like honestly, I was relying on the window light from my window, and it seems like it is immediately kind of a little bit darker outside, so I will be right back. I'm just going to hide my face cam while I go. Turn on another light. Oh, okay, take this turn first. Okay, my opponent is gone, so we win. Yeah, I mean, if they simply do not make any actions, then that's one way to come back here. I honestly, that's kind of upsetting, because I think we were actually in a pretty good spot after that. If they didn't hit boss on Charmander, like, we actually could have come back here, even if they did amp the Cleffa and go down to 2. You can, like, pretty convincingly come back from a 4-prize lead with this deck. It just would have depended on, like, how strong their setup was from that point. Nothing that I especially need here. I'm gonna boss. Maybe I'll just grab the counter catcher and let him boss next turn. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna counter catcher. Let's do the Raikou so I don't get the extra draw, and then I can Turo the Lumen, and then just take the knockout. What is the list? Let me see. I thought it was... Okay, let me fix my lighting first. Then I will double check if the list is in the description. It is not in the description. Okay, thank you. Much better. Okay, it's not in the description. It was supposed to be, but I will just send it here. So if anyone wants it, I'm sending it. Oh, too many words. I can break it up into 2. Sorry guys, this is too long. Okay, my opponent's giving me lots of time. I played Zard Control at my cup and got 4 ties. Oh no. I even had that problem. I haven't had much time issues with Zard Control, but I mean, it just depends on what matchups you hit at a certain point. If they're more control focused or Zard focused matchups, so obviously in the matchups where you attack with Zard more, you can wrap up games a lot quicker. I'm getting you guys the list. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it in the replies on my tweet about the stream, and then I'm going to link you guys to the list. And then if anyone asks, I can just paste this link. There you are. So that is the list that I'm playing today. I think I would, right now I've been testing with, also been testing minus the fighting plus the Mela, but that's a little bit more finicky because the legacy energy becomes your only way to attack with the Cornerstone. So in the matchups where you really want to use it, it could just be prized, or you could play against like a Zard with an E-Hammer and not have a way to get legacy back. And you really want to be attacking against Zard, so not playing fighting is a lot more sketchy. But Mela or Magma Basin are both cards that I've been wanting to find a way to fit in here. How is the matchup versus Regidrago? Favorable, not by like a ton, but like slightly favorable. Most of the time, basically you play it like the same way that a normal Zard would. Well, kind of. You start off trying to play it like a normal Zard would, and then as soon as you are on the back foot, you start doing things like, you know, like Counter Catcher, a Drago with no energy, Luxray, Eri. You just try to force as many resources as you can out of them over the course of the game, and then hope that you can lock them up with either of the Ogerpons. Usually they cannot keep up with Charizard and Radiant Charizard without burning a lot of resources. So you can just catch them, you know, maybe discarding their Cologne when they've already used Legacy Star, stuff like that. You're just looking for opportunities to exploit whatever resources they've discarded. Do you tend to weave the control in and out around Zard, or go pivot one game plan into a different game plan depending on the board state? You tend to weave in and out. There are some games where you just go Charizard game plan and you win really dominantly and quickly, but most of the time you are doing a little mix of, you know, you're attacking with Zard and then maybe using Fang Snipe plus Eri on one turn. This is a very bad matchup. I don't play Cologne. I did at Worlds. I do not currently. So that is going to be scary. But the Entei actually, in theory, could help a decent amount here. So let's just try to power that up. We can start two-shotting this thing very quickly. My opponent also didn't get turn 1 attach, so it's going to take them a little bit longer to start attacking. So we're not in a bad spot. As far as this matchup goes, the Entei is probably our best starter, or Cleffa. No, the Hammerheads. Yeah, I actually don't mind them using Catcher either. I got first place with Miraidon EX last weekend, and it's my first win. Nice. Congrats. That's big. I remember my first League Cup win back in, I think it was in 2017 with Gardevoir GX. Well, in Masters at least. I had a few in seniors already, but I was senior, so those were very small tournaments. My first League Cup win in Masters was a lot more exciting. That was before even I really started playing super competitively. I started going to like big tournaments. I was really only going to Cups and Challenges at that point still. Okay, so my opponent did find the energy and Turbo Energize, so that's scary. We're just gonna attach. Maybe if I had Legacy Energy this, they won't want to boss it. Is that just wishful thinking? Kind of. Okay, let's Arven. Get the Defiance Band and the Ultra Ball. And let's just get the Charizard out. So we get rid of Lumineon. I think I want to keep the Bravery Charm. Well, not with this hand though, maybe. Yeah, we're getting rid of the Bravery Charm. I was thinking like make some have to 3-shot Entei, but I kind of have like a really solid hand right now. Because I can just go Rare Candy, Zard, attach Fire, and then pass, and then next turn they knock me out, and I can just wipe them with a single Zardiax. Of course, we're still scared of hammers. But the fact that they used one of them on the Entei is pretty nice. Any C-Plow players in the chat? We have to have some. We have to have some. Although, there are certainly fewer C-Plow players by the day. I think my first couple moves with Mega Guard EX. Nice, nice. I never played Mega Guard EX. That was one of those cards that, like, I used to trade for all my cards. So I remember trading for Mega Gardevoir EXs and then trading them away so many times. Used to be on that C-Pow train, not anymore. Yeah, it's a sad time for C-Pow. I think, like, with the 1/1 Palkia, it can do okay in a Drago. Its matchups aren't good enough, like, against everything else to justify taking such, like, a finicky Drago matchup already. I think just it's got too much against it right now. There's so many of its matchups where it's like favored if it goes first, but then it's like very unfavored if it goes second. So being so like coin flip reliant isn't exactly where you want to be. Definitely need to test the 1/1 Palkia, but yeah, the rest of the matchups are iffy. Yeah, unfortunately. How hard can Palkia hit? Palkia caps at 260, but it's more about, basically the idea is you bench the Palkia turn 1 and attach an energy to Chien-Pao, and then if the Regidrago player knocks out both of your Frigibacks, because usually they will, then you can Star Portal 3 energy onto the board and attach again for turn again to get to 5 energy and one-shot a Drago without using Baxcalibur. So you go Palkia, attach, Poffin for double Frigibacks, your opponent takes a turn, knocks it with your Frigibacks, then you go Star Portal, attach, Poffin for 2 Frigibacks back, you know, usually with a Super Rod. Take a knockout, and then ideally they don't knock out both your Frigibacks again, and then you can go Rare Candy Baxcalibur from there. Okay, we're in a good spot now. I'll just Eri. Woo! Just leaving them with Penny and Giovanni. So if they don't top deck out of this, they will just lose. Well, no, they won't just lose. I 2-shot the Iron Thorn, so I won't be behind on prizes anymore after this. They have 2 turns to draw out of this. This is a very bad matchup for us. I will say that. We just had like a very good hand to open against it, and my opponent does not have a very good hand. So, okay, they top deck. Oh, they didn't top deck energy. They just are just playing Giovanni. I didn't realize you could play it without attaching. I actually don't think I've ever used. I've definitely used Giovanni at least once, but because I played like before NAIC, I tested it in Thorns a little bit, but I just didn't like it very much, so I cut it pretty quickly. Alright, we are 1-0. First game down. Get that Iron Thorns out of here. Typical Thorns, thumbs down, yeah. They're complaining when they're laddering with Thorns. I can never pay full attention when I laddered with Thorns. I've been laddering with like a Cornerstone, like a quad Cornerstone stall build lately, that I cannot reveal, but yeah, I just play that on my head empty. Good luck tonight. Gotta leave early for a EDH tournament tomorrow. Here's something first. Good luck. Don't prize any of your one-ups. Again, that was a joke. I know CEDH. Can't say it. I know it. I've played regular, just like casual Commander a little bit. Just like a few games here and there. with like a borrowed deck, but I can never really get into it. I like Magic though. I've played what's it called? Modern for a while. Not for anything like competitively, just at my local shop. And I really liked it. I thought the format was really good at the time. I just played Burn though, so control player in Pokemon, Burn player in Magic. The duality. I actually think I want this. I think the Cruel Arrow option could be really solid against the Wug Trio. I think I'm just going with Arven. I'm kind of scared of Eri. Like, this deck probably plays Eri, right? Let's risk it. Let's just grab Candy Stone. And then Instant Charge. I don't know if it's better to go for like a control line or a Zard line here. Like maybe I should just go for Luxray. Burn is love. Got my first 3-0 last week at locals with Ogerbolt. Who doesn't like going 3-0 with Ogerbolt? I haven't played Bolt to a tournament yet. I've played it plenty in testing though. I played Bolt Pulk. I was testing that for a while before NAIC, but then Bolt got really hyped, so the meta shifted up a little bit and I pivoted. That was when, you know, all the Polt were dominating in Japan, so we thought that Polt was probably going to come out and be BDIF. So Bolt was a lot better in theory at that time. I think Bolt honestly kind of single-handedly kept Polt in check, and then now Drago is doing the same, so Drago could have been a much more iconic, or Dragapult could have ended up being a much more iconic deck than it will be, because like it hasn't really done that much in North America at least, and it continues not to, and I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon. So right now, it could go its whole, it could miss its moment. I'm sure it will. It'll have its time though. It's just such an inherently strong attacker. I brought Bolt to a challenge and went bundle past 2 games and sleeved up something else. Yeah, that's fair. I do think Bolt is one of the most consistent decks in the format right now, but that's not necessarily saying that much. Let's Stone. Star Alchemy. Pidgeot. I'm gonna set up this guy because it can hit through Mimikyu, and the Wug Trio has less. I mean, everything on their board is in knockout range for this guy, anyways. So there's not really that much incentive for me to set up a Zard. I don't know if I have enough energy though. And maybe, oh no, okay, I didn't know one. So yeah, we're good. We're just go grab this. Candy, Zard. Yes, 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom. Retreat. Legacy energy. And let's Lost Vacuum. I don't need this. Just get rid of this. There wasn't really anything I wanted to search for off Artisan, and I certainly don't want them to search for things off Artisan. And let's just start demolishing the opponent. Yeah, they didn't hit anything too crazy off the Wug Trio. Certainly some cards that would be nice in this matchup, like Boss, Super Odd. Even the second DTE could be solid, but yeah, nothing too important. We can Pal Pad the Boss back in, play 2. How do you define your profile as a player? Are you a control player, aggro player, or mid-range? I don't really. I'd say, like, if I had my choice, like, the decks that I like playing tend to be the slower, more methodical decks. The more options possible, the better. You know, like, Pidgeot decks I love currently. I've always loved decks that have slow, methodical gameplay. But that being said, I don't let that really dictate what I actually play for tournaments too much. I try to just play whatever I think the best play for that individual tournament is. There's always one deck that's technically the correct answer for the tournament, and I try to find it. Whether it be a aggro deck or a control deck. Dragapult, one of the biggest flops in history. I think it's too soon to say. I think it did really well in Japan, so like if we count Japanese results, we can't really call it a flop. And I think it would have done really well here if it weren't for the fact that like Raging Bull, Teal Mask got discovered around the same time. And I think it's like done okay so far. It's certainly nowhere near where maybe people anticipated, but it still has room to grow. It could still go up from here. It's no Reshi's tag team. Yeah, that was, to be fair, that had some plain expanded, but I don't know if we count expanded for like standard flop measures. Because so expanded just allows room for so many more decks to have a chance. But Reshi's definitely. See, I had no hope for Reshi's ever, so for me it wasn't a flop. It was just, that was what I expected to happen. But I know there were people hyping it up, and it did. You know what? For like relatively, you could say it flopped and expanded. Because people were hyping it up a lot and expanded too, and it did okay, but never topped anything. Dragapult could still top something. It hasn't yet outside of Japan. I don't think, right? But well, we've only had 2 tournaments though. That's the thing. We've only had 2 tournaments with Dragapult legal. You never know. Took Chempao like 35 years to finally win a tournament. Or Rayquaza VMAX pre-Liverpool. Yeah, I'd probably say the same. I think Rayquaza definitely had more hype than, at least when it was first revealed, than Rashi's deck did, but I still wasn't super about it. But yeah, it definitely flopped, and it did have quite a bit of hype. Rayquaza, there was definitely a part of me that I believe when it came out. I remember at some point thinking like, oh, this could be pretty good. This ability is really good. I remember thinking it would be better for the ability, and maybe just bad for the attack. And the ability was okay. My friend Nathan Hargreaves from the UK actually played. I think him and a couple other people, but I know he made day 2 with Inteleon VMAX, like similar to my NAIC list, but with a 1/1 Rayquaza VMAX as a way to draw some extra cards before using Rapid Strike Search. And that was pretty silly. You can also Cheryl it, so it's like not. I think they might have played 4 Cheryl. It was like a turbo, just like try to Cheryl the Inteleon over and over again build. I mean, this is just gonna get pennied. We're gonna keep attacking. I think even if they get all heads at this point, I mean not all heads, that's a 9 discard. Ooh, Pal Pad going is not nice, but we're still fine. We'll just go quick search, grab the penny, pick up the Rotom. Now it's getting a little bit scary, so I'm gonna get down to 2. If they mill 6 again, let's assume they get 1 tails. Just like statistically, we'll assume they're gonna get 1 tails at least on both of these attacks. So they mill 6, I go down to, I draw 1. Yeah, I mean, we're totally fine. They mill 9, and then I'd be at 5, and then I Pal Pad, and then they need to mill 9 again to win. So they need to, even if all I do is Pal Pad, they'd still need to hit 9-9. This doesn't do anything. Doesn't stop Demolish. If I was playing regular Zard, I might... Maybe. I probably would have lost this. Demolish was too good. Probably would have lost to that guy in the Mimikyu. Although I probably would have had like one clone at least. If I was... Oh, actually, I don't think I do in my current Zard list. I knew Towards list had it. Maybe I do actually. Yeah. Never mind. My Zard list currently does have clones, so I could... I might be able to still beat this, but even with the clone, you're not one-shotting the Ogerpon, right? Against a Wug Trio, that's not going to take any prize cards. 8 cards in deck. Pal Pad. I am going to use the Iono too, just for funsies. Let's do Turo for the versatility. If I needed to pick up Pidgeot for some reason. Iono. I'm not even going to look at my hand. Doesn't matter. That's 2-0. We're gonna beat the Wug Trio and Iron Thorns. Would you cut clone for something like third Mander in Towards list? I mean, I only played 2 Mander in this list, so I'm not like that against. I think I'm just playing 2 Mander in my current Zard list still. I don't play the Rabsca though. I cut it. I just play Manaphy. I felt like just Evo TMing out of 60 HP Pidgey on its own is usually enough. Rabsca just was not like working for me. Half the time you can't even, you just like don't find Evo, or you don't find energy, or you prize one of the pieces, or you get the Rabsca but not much else, so you write the Rabsca and then they just hit Prime Catcher Clone. There were just like way too many things wrong with it for me. So I just played the Manaphy instead. And then when you'd miss the Rabsca, then they would just key your MU, so it kind of defeated the purpose. I had Entei V. I didn't add third Charmander, but I did add a couple more Nest Ball, because he played 0 Nest Ball. And like, it's kind of weird, because like, the idea with Radzard is usually like you want to bench it turn 1 and attach to it, that way even if your opponent knocks out double Charmander, you can still take a knockout with the DTE. But maybe that wasn't his plan with it, because he doesn't play Nest Ball, so there's not really a lot of good ways to search for that on the first turn. So I just decided to add a couple Nest Ball, and then I added Entei V as well. Do you play Vacuum or Sinnoh? No, I do not play Vacuum or Sinnoh, just the Collapsed. I don't feel like Lugia is popular enough right now that I feel like the Temple is better than having cards that help me in other matchups, like the Nest Balls or the Entei. The Entei is really good against Drago. Same reason as Radzard, really, is you can bench it turn 1 and just attach to it, and then even if they knock out both your Charmanders, you still have an attacker. And they have to Lost Impact to knock it out, so use quite a few resources. Same reason that the Entei is in this deck. Obviously, Entei is like can be good in general. You know, it's a stone target with a Berry Charm. It's pretty bulky, and it's a very efficient attacker. But yeah, it's mostly for the Regidrago matchup. All right, 2-0, pretty easy game so far. Where can I see the list? I'll send the link again. Right. Oh, that's for Zard Control. If you wanted the regular Zard list, I don't have a link to that. But it's not that different from, I think I can probably list off what's different from Towards list. So it's like minus the Rabsca, plus Manaphy, plus Entei, and then what did I cut for minus Temple for Nest Ball, and something else for Nest Ball, some other tech card. I'm not 100% what the last cut was. I don't quite remember what Towards list was. 100%. But I believe that's most of the changes except for, Oh, I added Rotom as well instead of Cleffa, because I was finding it was like very difficult to use Cleffa, especially because there were so many games that I wanted to, like, if I had energy in hand turn 1, I was usually just going to Evo TM to get the Rapscout, or even just to get Pidgeot or Charmeleon, or like Charmeleon Bibarel. So the Cleffa felt like a lot weaker. Rotom is just better than Cleffa for the games where you don't use Evo TM, basically. Because in the games where you don't open one of your only 6 energy cards in hand, having Cleffa and Evo as your turn 1 options didn't feel great. We'll go Nest Ball for Rotom, and then Ultra Ball away Turo and Vacuum for Charmander? Or do we just grab Pidgey and Charmander here? No, that's too much. That is simply too much. Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're not in an amazing spot against Raging Bolt either way. So I'm gonna take the 2 prize. If they just knock out the Luxray, we're like, okay. We're honestly probably in a significantly winning position if they just knock out Luxray. But, you know, they are typically playing 3 to 4 catchers these days, so our Charmander is not likely safe. The Squack. Okay. Down Iono, Superior, and Triple Grass. I mean, that's pretty nice. Less grass outs. It's good. Like to see that. No saw to get. Iono can be tricky late game. Not usually that big of a deal as long as we get Pidgeot out, but right now we don't have Pidgeot out, so could be a big deal to not have to worry about that. Our hand's pretty good for next turn. Although, like, if they don't knock us out, it's a little awkward because we won't be able to take a knockout either at that point. So is this supposed to prioritize Razar earlier, or does it play more like normal Zard? Both. I'd say, like, just in general, as any Charizard build right now, it's not that you're necessarily prioritizing Razard earlier, it's just that tends to be the best play in most of your matchups. Like, against the super aggressive decks, it tends to be optimal to Razard as early as possible. I've also struggled with tackling Mirror when they play Dusk and you don't. So, yeah, I mean, I'd agree. Dusk definitely gives you a very significant advantage. I'd say that you're just, like, strictly favored. But the thing is, if you play Dusk Noir, you lose to Drago. And if you play the Tord build, or something similar to it, you lose to other Zard. And Drago is more popular than Zard, so it just makes sense to lose the Mirror instead of losing to Drago. Because it is more popular, so you'll just play against more of them. It's basically all it is. I love Charizard Dusknoir. That was actually like what I originally wanted to play for Worlds. That was like I tested very early on in the format. It felt insanely good, but it just does not have a good Drago matchup. Ultra Ball, get rid of Ogre, miss, grab the Zard. So they did get the knockout, which means we can get the knockout. And they are going to need to do a lot to return knockout here. Go fire, fire. Put one on here for the pivot. They don't usually play Vacuum, but I kind of like to I think I would like to hold the stone just in case they... I mean, they could play like a random vacuum, or they could Iono us or judge us. Makes me feel a little bit better that they're... Or not Iono us or judge us. I was thinking like, they're probably not going to be able to knock this out. So they'll want to knock this out to even out their prize trade. So if I put the stone there, it's probably their best target anyways. Whereas the Iono's already in discard, so if I don't touch the stone, we're almost definitely just going to have it in hand still next turn anyways, so I might as well just wait. If they don't take a knockout at all this turn, we're in an amazing position. Even if they do get the knockout here, we can go, I think, ooh, this is actually really good. We can go Nest Ball for Entei. Actually, no. Nest Ball for Lumen. Stone to Lumen. Use the stone, get Legacy Energy, attach Legacy Energy to Charizard so it only gives it one prize, and then Penny the Lumineon back up, and then we only have one prize on board. And then we have Lumen in hand for whatever we need on the following turn. I really need to learn how to play this matchup. It's... As this deck, it's even better than for regular Charizard. You just have so many options. I mean, we just won, basically. We'll just go Stone, Arven. The fact they didn't get attack at all that turn is just game for us. Grab these. Star Alchemy. They definitely should have brought up the Greninja if they weren't sure if they were going to get attack there. At least force us to find boss. We would have found boss off the stone, but we wouldn't be able to get Pidgeot out then. Quick search. Let's get the Radzard down for safety, I guess. I don't know, I could even just Nest Ball for that. There's just really nothing I needed here. Sure. Put the Recharm on it. And just take the knockout. And then just quick search for boss next turn to knock out the Squawk. I can't imagine they will play this out. I wanted them to take a knockout on the Rotom, kind of, so I could go for the Legacy Energy play. So that'd be cool. I did that against, or something similar, against Alex in our round 1 at Worlds, actually. Because he was playing Bolt, and I was playing this. And I just went, I had a Lumen and a Rotom on bench, and Radzard active, and no other 2-price-1 on bench. I didn't have a Pidgeot or a Charizard in play. So I just Legacy Energy'd one of the Rotom, and then Penny'd the Lumen. And so I no longer had any 2-price-1 in play. And then I just went Radzard from 4 down to 2. He knocked out Radzard, and then I just used Lumen to find the pieces to attack with Radzard again on the following turn. Against aggro decks, you don't just go 2-2-2 and go single prize with Bib, Turo, and Radzard late if you need to. Yeah, basically that is the goal. Usually they'll get the prize lead, which is why you need to go Radzard early. Like if you just go Zard, if you set up like Zard and Pidge, and they like Pokemon Catcher heads a Rotom turn 1, go down to 2, you respond with Zard, go down to 4, or say they go down to 4, then you go down to 4, and then they knock out your Zard, they go down to 2, and now you can Radzard, but if they just have Pokemon Catcher heads on your Pidgeot, they'll still win. So like, ideally, you would like to go, they go down to 4, and then you go down to 4, but with Radzard instead of Charizard EX, and then they have to knock out Pidgeot that turn, and then if they do knock out the Pidgeot that turn, you can just attack with Radzard again and not put another 2-prizer down. So then they cannot win in 3 turns. If you attack with Radzard a turn earlier, basically. Whereas if you go, if they knock out Rotom, attack with Charizard, and then they knock out Charizard, then you need to Turo the Pidgeot and attack with Radzard, and then still find Radzard again on the following turn. Ideally, you go like, they take the first 2 prize cards, and then you go attack with Radzard, and evolve like a Charmander and Charmeleon, and then attack with Radzard again, and then they knock out the Radzard, and you just evolve to Charmeleon and Charizard. And boom. Poffin, Charmander, might Might as well grab the Cleffa here. Just so I have a free retreat. Pokemon active if I get knocked out. But it's not Drago. Maybe I shouldn't have been Cleffa just in case it is Drago, just because it's like a really easy crash I'm going to take, but... Either that or like another Pidgey. Just in case they hit like a Pokemon Catcher heads and went after my Pidgey. Yeah, no problem. How will Palkia match up against Zard in the upcoming format? It's tough to say. I think I haven't seen too many Palkia lists yet, so I'm not 100% sure what all of their options are. And obviously that'll change even more once I start grinding the format a little bit more. Right now, most of my students, I've started playing a little bit of Stellar Crown and started taking a look at the lists, but most of my students are still prepping for Baltimore. So I have I'm just starting to work on Stellar Crown, but I want to keep my eyes on the prize for Baltimore right now. Make sure that I don't miss any developments in the meta, getting too focused on Stellar Crown. But I think the Palkia versus Zard matchup should be relatively close. I think both decks... I think it's going to depend a lot on what the meta shapes up to be. Like, if there's a lot of Palkia, then Zard lists might tech for Palkia. If there's a lot of Zard, then Palkia might tech for Zard. So, I don't know if there's any specific techs that might become standard in those lists to swing the matchup in either side's favor. If that makes sense. Do you think Ogerbolt is a good choice for the upcoming format? I think Ogerbolt is probably just a good choice as long as it's around. It's just so aggressive, it's so fast. I mean, it's I think as long as it's standard, in standard format, it's going to be a viable deck. Okay, so what do we want to do here? I mean, we can just take the prize lead pretty comfortably. So we go, let's use the Arven. Candy and his Stone in deck, yeah. So we go Nest Ball for Entei, Stone for Pidgeot, Pidgeot for Charizard. Makes sense to me. Nest Ball, Entei. And when you take the prize lead in this matchup, it's actually, I'd say, probably significantly favorable for you. Boom. Should probably make sure I didn't prize any. I didn't prize triple fire. 3 in there. 1 fire prize. We'll go Candy Pidge. Quick Search. Charizard. Candy. I'm gonna put one on the Entei. One, 2, 3. Burning Darkness. Because now if they knock me out with this, then I can just return knockout with this. Keep my lead. I have no idea what to play for next format. What do you think are the best options? I think that the format will change a ton. I think from what I've seen, really the only big new decks are going to be Palkia and Terapagos, and then maybe the Noctowl engine will power up some other stuff that we haven't played a lot of before. But I think all the decks that are good now are still going to be good. I don't think that Terapagos or Palkia strictly gatekeep out of the format any of the decks that are currently good. I don't see any reason Charizard wouldn't still be good, or Drago wouldn't still be good. I think everything that, whatever you're playing now is probably still good. And then if you want to give Terapagos and Palkia a try, then that's pretty reasonable too. Zard just beats Ancient Box by having a ton of HP and Turo, right? Basically, yeah, it's just so hard for them to ever one-shot a Zard. They have to play Cobalion just to even have a chance at one-shotting Zard. Most Ancient lists that don't play Cobalion have to not prize any ancient Pokemon, or like just prize one ancient card, in order to be able to one-shot a Zard at all at any point in the game. So as long as you hit Turo the first time they hit a Zard, you're just in a really good spot. I mean, you can even Turo twice if they try to two-shot you again. It's definitely like, it's not an auto loss for ancient by any means, but it's pretty bad. Okay, I think I want to go Super Rod, Zard, Fire, Fire. Actually, let's go Ultra Ball, Fire, Defiance Band. Let's take this for some extra safety. I'm gonna attach. Okay, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go Super Rod, Zard, Fire, Fire, and then flip the script. Ultra Ball. Use it, get rid of Penny and Luxray, get the Zard, Quick Search, Candy, Zard, yes. And then, it's my other Penny in deck. It's good to know. We'll go Fire here. Fire here. DTE. Iono. Fleet-footed. So I can just boss for game now. Even if they knock out my Pidge, I have Lumen in hand, so they need to Iono and Prime Catcher. They need to Prime Catcher this and Iono me, knock this out. And then they need me to miss. I should have put the Fire on this instead of on Radzar. That way this could one-shot Drago, but it's fine because I have boss in deck anyways. And you go first into them. Yeah, go first into Ancient if you hit it. Do you think Thorns will be played more at Baltimore than Lugia? I think Lugia will still be more popular, but Thorns will be played. I think actually Thorns will be around the same percentage it was at Worlds, about 7%. And then Lugia is going to be lower than it was at Worlds at about 9%. I bet. You know, it could be like even up to 11. Lugia players don't seem too scared of Thorns. They seem to think if they play Thunder Rain, they can beat it. I disagree, but also I don't think they necessarily need to be able to beat Thorns, because like I said, I think it'll still just be about 7%, the same that it was at Worlds. They can reasonably try to dodge them, and even if they hit like 1, they can still make top 8, taking the 1 loss to Thorns. So Lugia is like, it's reasonable. I think Lugia just doesn't have good enough matchups and everything else for me to even want to give it a try after Thorns just won Worlds. It's like, it's obviously risky. You never know how many people are just going to play what won Worlds. I think a lot less than usual because it's Thorns, but you never know. Lugia just has so many other bad matchups. Like, maybe people don't want to copy the Worlds winning Thorns list, but they might want to copy the top 4 Dawn list. Your Roaring Moon matchup isn't even that good either. With the 4 Pokemon Catcher and the fact that they attack turn 1 every game, if you go second into Roaring Moon, I mean, they're just always going to take the prize lead, kill Lugia. But if you go first into Roaring Moon, the odds of you getting a Lugia down turn 1, not great. Or more than 1 at least. So, I don't love Lugia right now. I think it just has like so many terrible matchups. And even like its matchups that are supposed to not be that bad, you just get high rolled. Like Drago and Roaring Moon can definitely just like knock out your lone Lugia a couple times in a row. Ideally in those matchups, as Lugia, you should try to wait Like, if you can only get one Lugia down turn 1 against the Roaring Moon, it's probably not going to be worth it. They'll most likely be able to kill it. So just, like, wait until the next turn and get 2 down, as long as you're not going to get donked. And then you can use your Chinchinos later to try to make up that, and Legacy Energy, to try to make up the prize lead that they got. Over 4-0, I forgot we played against Miraidon because they left when we were not in that great of a spot. So we're technically 4-0 if we win this. They're probably going to Radzard. Doesn't especially matter unless they Iono us. I mean, and they have to not good at this still in order to have a chance. That hasn't changed. I don't think they realized that since they brought up their attacker. They definitely should have left on the bench and dug for the Prime Catcher. They have the Iono though, so I mean they still could if they get Prime Catcher now. Just retreat this. Knowing that they lose if they don't hit that, they probably should have just brought that up at the start of the turn. I wonder if they'll go for the Lost Impact knockout, or if they'll just Phantom Dive and try to set up for a 4-prize turn next turn. That almost seems better, so they don't get Iono to a lower hand size if I don't have knockout. Are you enjoying Shrouded Fable format so far? It's okay. I've been playing decks that I just have fun playing. I don't know if they're necessarily the decks that I should be playing. I think Ancient Box is probably the strongest deck right now. So, I mean, I have been playing some of that and liking it. But, you know, there are decks in the format that I can play and do well with, that I enjoy. So, I've been having fun. I don't like the format as a whole. I think there are too many decks at the top that I really don't like to see at the top. Dawn, Raging Bolt, Moon, all decks that I'm not a huge fan of. But, I think there's still, like, a decent amount of decks right now that you can, you know, have some skill expression with. I think Worlds was a worse format than we're in now because all these aggro decks weren't popular yet. So the best play for Worlds was to just play one of the aggro decks. Like, aggro decks were just going to always dominate Worlds, which is, you know, why all of the decks that were in Cut were Iron Thorns or aggro decks. Now that that happened, people are sort of reacting to it and playing decks that can beat those. Like, Ancient Box wasn't that big of a percentage at Worlds, and that has a very good matchup into all of the aggro decks. So now that sort of keeps them in check, makes them a little bit less popular, which then again allows you to play some of the decks that get kept out by those. Going into Worlds, it was like, Regidrago is going to be everywhere, play a deck that beats it, or play Drago. Now that World is over, Regidrago didn't win. It was pretty dominant, but most of the decks that did do really well, and especially the decks that did better than Drago, all have really good Drago matchups. So now Drago's tipped off a little bit, which means you can start playing the decks that lose to Drago again. Mainly Charizard. And Ancient gets the privilege of being good into all of the aggro decks that did well at Worlds and Drago. Not that Drago's not an aggro deck. Well, all of the big basics and Drago. Pretty good opening hand. We can just go Charmander, Arven, Poffin, Stone. We even have a Poffin already. I think we'll probably still go for another one. Maybe I might Luxray here. Charmander, Poffin, Charmander, Pidgey Manaphy. Let's go Charmander Pidgey. And then, do I do it? Should I Fang Snipe? What are the odds that they have? just 3 solid cards in their hand that they didn't want to play. I'm very tempted to just go grab Candy Stone and just Fang Snipe. I'm doing it for the stream. I don't know if I should have. I maybe should have just saved the stone and Arven for another Poffin, and then got like a second Pidgey and a Manaphy just to fully set up my board. But if this Fang Snipe sticks, then we just kind of win. Well, not necessarily, but we're in a very, very good spot. Research. No, Drago V-Star. Okay, that's fine. At least we forced them to burn their V-Star power instead of using research. So their hand is Temple Drago. Temple's gonna come down. That's fine. We still need a few things to get an attack off this turn. We're gonna Legacy Star for the research probably, or well, this is gonna grab. Oh, I was thinking that I was gonna grab Mew and then restart and then Legacy Star, or maybe the restart makes it so they don't even need a Legacy Star. But if the Mew is prized, they just didn't feel like going for that option because they didn't want to put a Pokemon in play that was easy for me to knock out in case they missed. But using restart here, if it was in deck, was definitely correct for them to not necessarily burn the Legacy Star. Best to try to save it. With Stellar Crown, do you think Dragon Ball DX is viable again? I think Dragon Ball DX is viable now, honestly. I think there's a lot of decks right now that are just sort of underrated. I think it has a bad Drago matchup, but it's pretty good in everything else, and it can beat Drago. I think you have to play like Bravery Charm for your Pidgey. Poltatsu, you know, if you get turn 1 Evo TM, can be pretty decent to Drago. You could even play the Rabska. But to answer your question, yes, I do think that post-Stellar Crown Dragon Bolt would be good. I think people shouldn't necessarily call it so written off right now already. I think it's pretty solid still. I think it's just one of those decks. I mean, I think it was same way it was like pretty solid last set, but no one played it. I think before Shrouded came out. I think people like. I don't know if everyone here is active on Twitter, but I honestly think that I'm just gonna Fang Snipe again, guys. Definitely just gonna Fang Snipe again here. Oh, I can't Fang Snipe. That's okay. I messed up. I forgot about the temple. He's in charge. I think that when people on Twitter are like, guys, this deck's actually not that good, everybody just believes it, and so nobody plays it. Like, Dragapult is that deck to me. I think there's a lot of other examples. Like even Charizard right now, like it's starting to pop up again, but like going into Worlds, I think it was like, you know, it definitely had a bad Dragon matchup, but it was still real. And not a lot of people played it. They had the Prime Catcher. Okay, I mean, that's okay. They've already used their Legacy Star, so now the Prime Catcher's gone. They're going to take a 4 price turn. This is where the control cards come in. Are you still in the Xatu version over Pidgeot? I'm not 100% sure, honestly, because I haven't been playing a ton of Dragapult lately. I think that... Oh, they didn't have Dragapult. They had to go for the Pidgeot. Let's do this. Grab this. No, let's get this. Yeah, if I were to play in a cup tomorrow with Dragapult, I think that I would probably play the Pidgeot version. Just because I think that when it sets up, it's a little bit stronger than Strago. It's a little awkward. Let's just go quick search for candy. I still haven't decided if I'm gonna Penny or Eri yet. With the 6-card hand, like Eri seems pretty good. I think I'm gonna do it. What if they just have Dragapult next turn? How much are you doing right now? 160. If they had Dragapult last turn, surely they would have played it. Nah, it's not worth the risk. We'll just Penny this. Spreading Darkness, go for the 2-shot. Like, Eri could have found really good stuff that turn just because of how large our opponent's hand size was, but it just... And they didn't have Dragapult last turn, so there's like a pretty good chance that if we Eri them, they won't find it again this turn. Or that even if they do find it, they still won't be able to close out the game after that because of whatever we found Eri. But it's just not worth the risk that they find it and then take the free 2 prizes. Down Prime Catcher, Rod, Energy Switch, and Superior. So quite a few resources already. They did get the Dragapult and discard. Don't know if they would have been able to if we had Eri though, to be fair. We're certainly in a worse position than we were on our last year game. In our last year game, we got the first knockout. We were at the head the whole game. This one we gotta play from behind, makes it a lot trickier, but I think we're still in a pretty solid spot. Isn't Zard just a better version than Pult? I feel that maxing at 230 sucks against the aggro decks. Not particularly. You don't need to necessarily, like, well, against the aggro decks, other than Drago, 230 is enough to one-shot. Like, you don't knock out Bolt or Drago, but you knock out Roaring Moon still, and you get to capitalize on the frenzied gouging damage. Basically, like, the way that Dragapult wants to play, I mean, if you even want to go for the Defiance ban, is you just want to take, like, a 6-prize turn, right? So, like, Zard can't play around, like, Fezandipiti. Whereas, like, Dragapult, you can, like, use, just hand disrupt them the whole game, and, like, your Ionos are always drawing 6, because you're not taking prizes, and then you just take a 6-prize turn. That way they never get to flip the script. Because Zard wins in 3 attacks against aggro decks, right? You just one-shot, 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 6 prizes. Dragapult still wins in 3 attacks. Phantom Dive, Phantom Dive, Phantom Dive, that's usually going to take 3 knockouts. Or 3 2-prize knockouts. So, either way, you're winning in 3 attacks. Okay, now we're in a much stronger spot. I can just go... I will definitely Eri. Energy Switch, Cologne for sure. And then let's Nest Ball for the Radzard. Get it down in advance here. Let's DT to it, just in case our opponent has to trap it. And obviously we're going to quick search for something. This would be where, like, I'd grab Charmeleon if I still played it, but I do not. Yeah, we're gonna grab this, and we'll put it on this to put it at a Phantom Dive range, and then just take the knockout. Now we're in a great position. Their hand is Boss, Ultra Ball. They do have Flip the Script, but they have no energy on their Drago. And they're down both Super Odd and Superior. 2 energy switch. They need to hit double energy switch here in order to attack with Drago, so this is realistically like their only option. And then we just swing with Radzard next turn and Roxanne them. Holt definitely has a worse Raging Bolt matchup than Zard, though. I will say that. I think Holt's Roaring Moon and Murata matchups are fine. But Zard does. Zard has a better Raging Bolt matchup because of how good it is at using Radzard. Dragapult can play Radzard, but it's never going to be as good at using Radzard as Charizard is, right? Although Xatu build, you can use Radzard a turn. You can set it up in one turn with when your opponent is at 3 prizes with Xatu. So you can Radzard a little bit early. Nice. That is basically game. That missed from my opponent. We will just go... I have Lumineon deck. Yeah, so we're going to go quick search for... I was going to do Pal Pad and then Ultra Ball for Lumen and boss the Fez, which is probably not necessary. Let's just grab this, I guess. Let's... Arven, just put this into hand. Put this on here. And then just take the knockout. Are there 2 fire prized, I believe? Unless we took one off the prizes, I didn't notice. Which is very possible. I think we might have taken one. Nope. There they are. Does Zard's Bolt matchup get worse next step because Bolt can use Briar, so they go 1, 2, 3? Let me double read. Briar. Just 1 extra prize when your opponent is at exactly 3 prizes, right? Yeah, when your opponent's at exactly 2 prizes remaining until the end of the turn if your opponent's active one is knocked out. I don't think so. I mean, I think it improves the matchup for Bolt, but Zard also, you know, is going to play Briar, right? So Zard can sort of do the same thing. They can, if Zard goes first, and they are able to take a 1 prize knockout, and then take a 2 prize knockout, and then take a 3 prize knockout. But I think it definitely helps both a little bit more than it helps Zard. But I think Zard definitely still favored. Flip that script. Not great draws there. Probably just gonna Roxanne in here. I was hoping to find one of the pieces there. I'm trying to think like what my plan B is right now if I miss. Oh, they don't switch. No, just Prime Catcher. Alright, so let's grab this. Let's go Luxray, Lost Vacuum, let's bench this Roxanne. Okay, so we did miss, so we're just gonna go retreat into this. And Combustion Blast for 150. Hey, how's it going? Thank you, thank you. We are controlling with Charizard at the moment. That I mean Roxanne Prey. Oh no, the Mew. That's scary. They just need boss, I think. Do they have Giratina in discard? No. So they need Giratina in discard still too. Because Phantom Dive can knock out any of our bench Pokemon at the moment. Oop, dropped my mic. Vessel. That's not a Giratina. It's not a Giratina. I don't think, I'm pretty sure they need Giratina, yeah. They wouldn't need the Tina if they had been using Phantom Dive instead of Gooey Goose there. Oh no. They researched though, and their prime character's gone, so we're probably fine. Do they even have? Yeah, they have Lost left. They could have dug for. I think they did use restart, right? Yeah, they restarted, whiffed it, and then had to research. So I think we should be safe. They can't even take a prize on this Radzard, so we should be winning here. I kind of wish they would take a prize on the Radzard, actually, so we could actually kind of catch her. Apex Dragon. Another Goodra Swing. Because we don't have game here in hand. You have to find Zard still. That changes things a little bit. I can go. Okay, let's Poffin do a quick review of the deck. Okay, both fire in there. I have a lot of outs. So what I'm just gonna do, I'm just gonna Super Odd, Radzard, Fire, Nest Ball, Radzard. Oh yeah, that's it. The top deck. I kind of want to see if I would have hit it anyways, but I won't slow down my opponent. Yeah, even if we didn't top deck the Nest Ball, flip the script would have most likely gotten us the missing piece that we needed. Womp. Alright, still undefeated. 5-0 now. Beat 2 Drago. At least 5-0. I feel like I might be losing track. What does my account say? I know I lost the game earlier today before I started playing. It might have not been today. It might have been last night, but regardless, the last game I played before this stream, I lost. So that win streak is the stream streak. I don't know why I don't remember what I hit. I know I hit Thorns, Wugtrio, 2 Drago, and a Miraidon. I don't remember what the other deck was. I'd love to be able to go second with this deck, but I'm too scared of Drago. You have to go first against Drago, so I just opt first if I don't know what I'm playing against. This is probably going to be the last game, because these games can be a little bit long. We only have 4 minutes until 6, which is around when I was hoping to end the stream. But I'm down for one more game, so we'll play one more game, and then this will probably be it. If you want to learn any more about Charizard Control, I did write an article just sort of detailing my Worlds run on the TSS Patreon, so you can check that out there and just, it's not like a detailed guide all the way through, but it goes over all of the games that I played at Worlds, gives you some insight into some pretty unique situations that actually come up quite a bit for the deck. It sort of explains, I mean, obviously I didn't make day 2 at Worlds. I went 4-3-1, so sort of where those upsides and downsides come from with a deck like this. Because, I mean, we're 6-0 now. 6-0 right now. About to make it a 7-0 against this Gardevoir. Probably not. This is actually kind of a tricky matchup. But we have a pretty good start. No Charmanders, but that's fine. Is that my goat, Cyrus? It is. Is that my goat, Josh? That's crazy. What are you doing here? Fancy seeing you at the TSS YouTube stream. Okay. We see the Evo. Candy. Pidge. I could take a knockout. Just saying. I could knock out one of these Curlios right now. And I might. Nest Ball. I want this. And then I can go Lumin. No, Boss Prize. Okay. Never mind. I cannot. But they Greninja active? Yes. Okay, I have a cooler play. Okay. Grab this. We're just going to do this. We're going to do this. Grab this and this. Poffin, boom, boom. And we catch them in a very awkward spot here because they don't want to. Let's grab a candy for next turn in case we get devoed. We're going to want candy next turn anyways, so that's what we're going now. Because they don't. Now they know we play Legacy, so they know we can attack with Torrential Pump, but they don't want to bench Manaphy because we're sobbing them, and we've already trapped a Greninja. So they already have to throw this. If they bench a Manaphy, we can sob that too. So they kind of have to just not bench Manaphy, and then next turn, we can Rare Candy Charizard Torrential Pump. Well, maybe not next turn because their boss is prized, but we'll go sob this one more time, and then Torrential Pump for a 2-prize turn. It'd be nicer if our boss wasn't prized, and then we could just boss Torrential Pump double Curlia, which is what we usually want to do in this matchup, but that's okay. I'm here trying to watch some top tier Zard control content. I am glad you came to the right place, right in time to see a Torrential Pump potentially. Artisan. It's like over Manaphy, we might be able to just win with Sob. That's like another option here. I think that Ninja is very nice for us. Might be able to just win with Sob this game either way. Because we can trap Mimikyu as well. Obviously it's not, it can do damage, but we can Penny and Gust around it. I would really like to take some prizes though to try to find the boss though. Because without boss, Sob as a win con is a lot less likely. Okay, I'm gonna grab the Mist this turn, I think. And then just Sob again, probably. Just make sure that we don't lose to Devo. Sob. So now this is in range of a double Sob knockout. We won't be able to do it with DTE though. We'd have to do it with Charizard, so it's obviously not ideal. Okay, they have the Turo though. They did find it. Might be their only one. A lot of Guardians are only playing one now. Thoughts on Ancient Box? I think Ancient Box is the best position deck in the format currently. I think it beats most of what's popular right now. It only really struggles against Zard and Lugia, and that's only about like 20% of the meta, so you're like very favored into like 80% of the meta. Or at least you're very favored into like 65% of the meta, and then like fine to 15%. So I think Ancient Box is like incredibly strong right now. I wouldn't tech for Zard, though. I wouldn't play Cobalion. And I wouldn't tech for Lugia. I don't think Enhanced Hammer's worth it either. Just play a consistent list. Take your good matchups for what they are. Take your bad matchups for what they are. Okay, I actually thought with the Munkidori they were just going to go for a knockout here with Gardevoir EX, but I mean, it guess makes sense not to when they'd be activating Multi-HP and Charizard knockout. But this does mean that I can Sabo Curlia next turn. Or if they just Hex Hurl, I can just take the prize lead on this Gardevoir. I don't play Charmeleon anymore. I played Charmeleon at World, and that helps in the Guardian matchup a lot. Like, this hand would be so much better if I played Charmeleon. But, alas. Actually, I think I'm just going to Torrential Pump. We'll just go... Okay, let's... Counter Catcher. This. Stone. Luminous Sign. Iono. Iono them down to 5. I didn't want to get Zard out there. I just don't want to be greedy and not play around Devo. But maybe I should have, because I have Charmeleons. So sad. Quick Search. DTE. Ooh, maybe let's Bravery Charm one of these. I don't want to commit to that. Torrential Pump. Now, this puts me in the best possible position to brick them throughout this game. Now that I've knocked out Double Curlia, they take 2 prizes on this, and then I can go Charizard Roxanne. That's the game plan here, fellas. Just gotta be so careful about this matchup, because Gardevoir has a lot of things that can just, like, brick you in one turn. Like, we could still just get bricked by, like, Stamp Hammer Devo pretty quickly. Arven for Super Odd Bravery Charm. We just don't know what they play, right? Now, if they just Hex Hurl again, we might be able to just Torrential Pump again. We have it in hand. Okay, but they're going to go for the Munkidori to set up on this instead of trying to knock out both Manders. So yeah, we're in a good spot. We'll just Roxanne and Zard. Hopefully we can knock out this. There's the Zard. So let's go let's go for the Fez. And try to hit one of the pieces here so we can have it guaranteed. We have the other counter catcher in deck, right? We didn't prize boss and counter catcher. Yeah. Okay, so we're trying to hit either Roxanne or counter catcher. Because if I don't, then I'm not gonna... Oh, I have Stone too. We're fine. We're counter catcher and Roxanne here. Although I didn't hit the I still need a candy. So I think I'm just gonna get the Zard. Yeah, I'm just gonna guarantee it. We don't need a Roxanne, they don't have any Curlias. Still have 2 fire in deck. Okay. I was hoping to hit just any of the pieces there, but that's fine. We'll just go... I want to attach one of these with Infernal Rain. This choice doesn't necessarily matter. Super Odd. fire ogre. Candy. Let's do the one that's closer to dying. We're gonna go 1, 2 on here, 1 on here to set up for Cruel Arrow. What did I do wrong here that I don't have a counter catcher in hand? Something. I did something very wrong. Retreat. Oh, I didn't retreat yet. I was like, did I already use Quick Search? And I just like am blanking, because I do that on stream sometimes. I talk, I yap, and then I miss the plays. But no, I just didn't retreat yet. We're all good. DTE. I kind of want to Bravery Charm this, just since it's the only one pricer I have. Yeah. To offset the prize trade for them. With Spreading Darkness, and then next turn we can English Lumen for Roxanne. Yeah, so I was like, when I said I couldn't use Quick Search, I kind of just assumed I already used it. I was like, I've been playing at this turn for so long. How did I already use my Quick Search and not even realize? I miss things on stream so much more. I mean, if they don't get down another Corellia here, it is just over. I will simply Cruel Arrow it. Or just boss it. But we'll see. Iono. We're obviously not like completed our votes yet. What they want to do is counter catcher this and hit it for 90, and then like try to finish off Monkadori next turn, and then kill like this. I mean, kill whatever, as long as they take 2 prizer on the following turn. On regular Blizzard Pidgeot, should I run 5 energy and a DTE? Yes. 5 energy is plenty right now. A lot of time you want to attack with Radzard twice anyways, just go like Radzard with a DTE for the first one, and then Radzard again later. So usually only attack him with 1 Zard if you do that. And even if you do need to attack with 2 Zards, like 2 fire on a Zard, 2 fire on a Zard, 1 fire on a Radzard. Is all 5-year fires, even if you never find a super odd, so. Okay. So we'll just Quick Search for the boss. And then we should just be good. Barring some crazy Rare Candy shenanigans. Or like Ehim or Devo could still be annoying if they did play it, but I'm assuming they don't play it at this point. All thanks to Torrential Pump that we have ended up in this board state. We live to Torrential Pump. I Cruel Arrow a lot in this matchup too. This is a matchup where you just like, I mean, it's same as anything against Gardevoir, right? You're just trying to pick off Corellia as much as possible. But it's like you're just actually like so good at it, mostly because of Wellspring, because like it keeps them from wanting to put the Manaphy down because you can trap it with Sob. But then if they don't put the Manaphy down, then they get Torrential Pumped and Cruel Arrowed all game. Mimic you. So we just Quick Search. Let's do it this way. Penny. Cruel Arrow on Rolls. Kind of fakes you out. It says 100. It was trying to get me to target the Flutter and missed the knockout. But then when you actually place it, changes it. It retcons the damage counting. where can I find the deck list? I will send this link. Should get you to it. But yeah, so like I said, that was my last game. For anyone who's curious about the list, there it is. I mean, we went 7-0, so pretty good stream. If anybody has any other questions on the deck, feel free to send me like a private message or whatever. You know, I also offer coaching on Manaphy, and like I said, I did write an article last week, I believe it was, on my Worlds report. So if you're looking to just hear about some more Zard control, you can look at it there. But the list that I posted there is my current list. All right, thank you everyone for watching, and have a great day.